Yo, I don't know who need to hear this or see this, but if you're pregnant, drink your water and make sure you eat. Okay. I just made myself so sick right now because it's like finna be 5 o'clock and all I ate was a bowl of cereal today. And baby, yeah, my child not having it. Anyways, hello everyone. I am Takara. You can call me T. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, what's up? Welcome back. Yo, today I wanted to do a video that I should have done years ago, but we're just getting to it now. So yeah, today we are going to do my labor and delivery vlog. So I am currently pregnant with my second child, and my first child is 5. He just made 5 last month. So like I said, this is a long overdue video because I should have been. So y'all, I do have a shirt on. Okay, I don't know why, it's just, I don't know why I want to wear a bandeau top for this video. It's kind of weird. Anyways, so yeah y'all, so let me get into this video. Where do I want to start? This was 5 years ago, but the only thing I can't remember is the pain of it, because I feel like when you're in labor, it's such a traumatic experience sometimes to where like you kind of block out the pain of it. But I still remember all the details, and I want to tell y'all some things that I know now that I'm pregnant with my second child, so I can do better. Like, I'm not going to repeat them same mistakes, because I feel like this isn't taught to people, especially with their first child. So basically I had my son June 12th 2019. I went, so like a week, I had him at 38 weeks 5 days. So when I was 37 weeks, I had my appointment the week before, which was every Wednesday, and I was 1 centimeter dilated. So when she told me that, I kind of started doing my little, I didn't really do too much when it came to like trying to induce labor myself. I just kind of was like exercising at home, and then I did what everybody tells you. The way the child was created is the way they're gonna come out. I mean, the way the child is made is the way to get them out, something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yes, I did do that, and that worked. So I, basically had intercourse, and I went into labor the next day, if I'm not mistaken. It was like the next day I went into labor. So I thought I labored long enough at home, but I guess I didn't, because I had contractions all night. Like, so my boyfriend at the time, he was at work. He worked till like 2, 3 in the morning. So I had contractions all night. Like, they just was coming back to back to back to back. So, and they were bearable. So that's why I was like, I was counting them. But like from my little phone thing, I was doing a little tracker thing. It wasn't saying it was time to go to the hospital. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to go to the hospital. I'm going to leave it alone. So he got home around 2, 3 a.m. And when he got home, we didn't go to sleep until 5 a.m. I remember specifically. So we cut the lights off. We laid in the bed. And y'all, I kid you not, I'm not even like being dramatic when I say this, but as soon as I laid down, I felt like a crack in my vagina area. Like you know how when you crack your knuckle? I felt that in my vagina area. And then like this gush of water came out. So, I mean, this is my first time pregnant, so I didn't know what your water breaking felt like. But I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure my water just broke. Like, I don't think, like I was like, I don't think this is rocket science. Because I was always wondering, like, I wonder what contractions will feel like. I wonder what my water break will feel like. Baby, you're going to know. You're going to know what it's going to feel like. Point blank, period. So my water broke, and after my water broke, contractions was still the same. They were still coming, but my thing was, to my knowledge, I thought when my water broke, that meant I had to go to the hospital. But I should have been paying more attention to my contractions, because my contractions were still not very, I was still manageable. I can't remember how many minutes apart they were, but everything was still manageable. So this is my first child. My water broke. At this point, I'm like, okay, I got to get to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Because, when your water break is considered, labor. So I get to the hospital, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. When your water breaks, because my mama asked me, she was like, "You want to put a pad on?" Because I had changed clothes. I was just ready to get to the hospital. Okay. So she was like, "You want to put a pad on?" And I was like, "No." I mean, y'all, the hospital, kid you not, was like, you drive up a block and turn, and there was the hospital. So I'm like, "No, I'll be fine." I should have listened. She had 3 kids. She knew. So, let's just say when your water break, it's going to continue to leak, and I don't think I understood that. So when it broke, y'all, I was literally walking through the hospital. I had on these Adidas pants, I remember. I was walking through the hospital and there was like liquid leaking out of my pants the entire walk. Fun times. So I get upstairs, they had me in triage. They were like, they hooked the stuff up to my stomach, I guess, to like see if I was really in labor or not. Well, my water broke, so they was gonna admit me anyways. But also got my cervix checked, which I was only at like 2 centimeters by the time I was at the hospital. That's it, just 2 centimeters. That's why I should have waited at home a little longer, because yeah. So they finally admitted me, and this is where my mistakes started coming in. So since my water broke, they felt like I needed to rush my labor, and this will happen. So when you go to the hospital, y'all, it's just best to be further along, because they're going to try to rush you, and that's basically what they did with me. So when I got there, I knew nothing about nothing. I didn't know what Pitocin was. They just told me, from my knowledge, they told me, "Hey, we're gonna start you on Pitocin. It's going to kick up your contractions to try to help dilate you further." I didn't know at the time that meant inducing me. I did not know this. So that's where my mistake came in. I should have labored longer at home, so I wouldn't have got to the hospital and made them feel like they needed to rush my son coming into the world, because that's when a whole lot of complications come into play. So they told me that I did not know what it meant inducing me. I didn't know what none of that meant. I should have been more educated. So and also, you can tell them no. If you don't want Pitocin, if it's not something that's like in the way of your, your health, your child health, you can very much tell them no. And I didn't know I could say no, because I didn't even know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know nothing. So they gave me Pitocin, y'all. And at first, that was cool. I didn't get admitted till like 6 a.m. My mama got there around 7. It was my mom and my boyfriend at the time there. Everything was cool. I still was like, whatever. So then they came back and gave me some more Pitocin. They upped my dose, because nothing was really happening. So y'all, when that second time around they upped my dose, yeah, them contractions started coming for real. And I feel like, first off, Pitocin makes your contractions 10 times worse than what they're supposed to be. So I feel like I really could have labored naturally if they wouldn't have gave me that. Like, I just was like, them giving me that was like, literally, it was hell, y'all. So yeah, that happened, and I went as long as I could. I went till about 3-4 o'clock in the evening, and finally I was like, I want an epidural. So the man came, and I panicked. He gave me that. He put it in. Everything was, I didn't feel nothing. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. The needle's long. It's like about this long. I didn't feel anything, or at least I don't remember. When you got all the other stuff going on, baby, that little pinch in my back was not doing me nothing. Okay. So the epidural, it was so painless, I don't even remember. So that tells you how painful that was. But he put it in, and I panicked, so I hurried up and told him to take it out. But when he put it in, it started working like immediately. So my bottom legs, like up until like the mid of my stomach, had already started like numbing up or whatever. So he took it out, and of course I felt some relief for about an hour, and then the contractions started back up again. So by 5 o'clock I was like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, I was like, I'm chill now. Could he come and put it back in? I was like, I'm chill now, whatever. So he came. He was very nice. Everybody, y'all, I will say one thing, all the staff, everybody was very, very sweet. So he came, he put another one in, and that was fine. I took a nap. Everybody who say they get an epidural, they say the same thing. They took a nap. I took a nap. I put on Coco. I remember I put on Coco, the little cartoon, and I took me a well-deserved nap. So by the time I got up, my second nurse was already on shift, and she had me just moving into all these weird ass positions. Like, she's like, do this, do that, do this, do that. So my first nurse didn't tell me nothing, but this started earlier in the day. So my second nurse finally put me on game, and she was just like, well, you know, your baby's heart rate keeps dropping every time you have a contraction. I'm like, okay, like the first lady didn't feel like this was important to tell me, because she didn't say nothing. So so I think maybe an hour passed by after her changing me to different positions, and she was like, I'm gonna have to call the doctor. She's gonna come have to see, because we may have to intervene. So at this point, I'm like, Lord, please no. Like, I went into labor with preparation of he's gonna come out two different ways, through the regular, you know, vaginal way or a C-section. So I just knew this could be a possibility. But so my doctor came, and she basically was like, we got to get in there, we got to get him out of there. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was crying, y'all. I was scared. It's a, you know, C-section is a major surgery. I was terrified. But she was like, you know, good thing is you have the epidural already, so all we're gonna do is turn your epidural up. And she was like, it's gonna numb you up to right about here. She was like, your chest may feel a little heavy, but you're fine, whatever. So when she told me that, I started panicking even more, because I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna be able to breathe, whatever, blah blah blah. So finally she was just like, look, you know, it's either you can be awake, or we'll have to put you to sleep, but we're gonna have to go in there and get him, because this is like, we don't know what's causing his heart rate to lower every time you have a contraction. So at that point, I got through my head, my baby's in trouble. I was like, okay, let's do this. So everything was like this. They turned the epidural up. They pushed me to the other room. I had to choose whether it was my mom or my boyfriend at the time. I chose him, obviously, but in real life, I would have chose my mom. Anyways, so but he kept me calm. I will say that he kept me calm. So we went. Everything was great, y'all. It went by pretty fast. You're numb, but you do feel, if that makes sense. So like, I felt the blade. I felt them tugging and pulling things out of me. It's just there was no pain with it. So it was a weird experience. They don't really explain that to you, but I got used to it, and everything worked out okay. Now, I will say towards the end of the C-section, I started panicking. Around the time when they're like stapling you and like, you know, all that, I did started to panic. Only because, okay, I asked for no narcotics. I was like, I don't want no narcotics, no none of that, right? So, they gave me Tylenol. I remember I asked the lady, what's that medicine you put into my IV? And she was like, oh, it's Tylenol. So I feel like it was the Tylenol that made me feel this way, only because, you know, Tylenol, if a high enough dose, it can make you feel woozy, high, whatever. So I started feeling weird, and I started panicking, because I'm like, I don't know, what's this feeling? Why do I feel like this? I just had a surgery. Is this something else? Like, da da da. But I felt like that for like maybe 1 to a couple of hours. It got better as time went on. So as after like the first 30 minutes, I started to calm down. It was like, okay, Takara, you just had a long day. It could have been that medicine also. I was like, you know, I mellowed out. But by the time they moved me to the postpartum room, I felt almost completely back to myself. And then I took a nap, and that really did the trick. But yeah, so I really think it was that Tylenol. And I think it was too high of a dose that they gave me, because I'm a small girl, like, so I really think they just gave me too high of a dose, and it made me feel high. So whatever. But yeah, so after that, I had my baby. They'll come through. They checked my staples the next morning, and after you have a baby, they come. I don't know if this is only C-section or both ways. I don't know. You know, I've only had one child. But they came every hour at first, pressing on my stomach to feel like how hard or soft my uterus was, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I had to wear compression socks for 24 hours, I think it was. I had a catheter put in. Since I was on epidural, you have to have a catheter put in. They took my catheter out the next morning. They made me get up and walk the next morning. So I had him 8:55 p.m. And then the next day they had me get up around noon, 1, 2ish, and try to use the bathroom myself. That was very scary. And then after that, a little later in the day, they had me walk a lap. You know, you want to make sure you're not just sitting in the bed. You keep your blood flowing. I will say for my C-section girlies, that first get up after surgery, it's hard, y'all. You feel like you had surgery on your whole body. Y'all, my whole entire body ached. It was very hard, but after getting up, it was easier for me to move around. So I can see why it was beneficial and why they make you do it. It definitely, because you know my body was stuck in that one position for all them hours. So it was like me getting up and I just loosened my muscles up, kind of. But yeah, so that is my labor and delivery story, y'all. I really want to take y'all on a journey with my second child. I tried documenting my first child, but I wasn't consistent. But I am currently, let me show you. I'm currently 21 weeks. I see a doctor every other week. Literally, like I had a doctor's appointment on the 1st, now I got one on the 15th, then I got another one on the 30th. So like literally every other week I see a doctor. I have my regular doctor, I have my high risk doctor. Your girl always at the doctor. But yes, so I will tell y'all this story too. I want to keep y'all updated on this. But yeah, that is my labor and delivery story, y'all. At the end of the day, what I know differently is labor at home, or say no to Pitocin unless it's necessary. And just know when Pitocin is in the mix, you're gonna have a high risk of wanting the epidural. And once you got Pitocin and epidural in the picture, it's another risk that you will have a C-section. So now it's possible to have all these things and to not have a C-section, but it makes your risk of needing a C-section a little higher when you have the Pitocin, then you have the epidural. Yeah. So thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this little story time. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later.